I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey and I'm starting a new series with this video. So I created a brand new account on Board Game Arena, a secret second account, which obviously is not going to be so secret anymore after you're going to watch this video. And I wanted to demonstrate you how you climb from complete beginner in Carcassonne to master, which would be equivalent to a rating of around 700 ELO points on Board Game Arena. So we're going to create a game. Yeah, I haven't really changed anything about this. So I think if we create a game, then we should get paired up immediately, and somebody is unsuspecting and accepted our invitation. Yeah, so basically I'm just going to keep playing with this account up until I get to a rating of 700, and as a result, at the start we're going to have some lower rated opponents. And so with that, I want to talk about some beginner things, perhaps, or if you are a strong player, how you try and win against somebody who's maybe not that experienced. So here we have a variety of options what we can do. Actually, this is a quite decent move, I think. Yeah, it's a pretty good move for somebody who's 200 rated, because it's sort of threatens to take over this road and it's a very relatively safe space. I think I should just take 2 points over here, and also to eliminate a city cap. Yeah, good moves, and my opponent is taking the city, but of course there's still a couple of tiles before this city is going to be complete, and we are going to take 3 quick points. We should be taking a lot of quick points at the start of the game, pretty much wherever they can. Just a second. So here we have only... Hey, that's a decent move as well. I mean, maybe there was a slightly better monastery spot, but no, it's my opponent's playing well so far. Now I have only one legal move, so I'm forced to continue my opponent's city. Okay, so now here, this is actually not as an optimal move. I mean, for somebody who's like rated 200, it's actually really good, because it adds 1 monastery point, but it makes the development of the monastery really not harmonious at all. It also kills off monastery spots next to this monastery. Now, yeah, because ideally you want to build up your monasteries like with you want to put them together. All right, what do we do? What do we do? We could go here, start a monastery, or we could try and control this space at the same time putting pressure on this guy. I think this is slightly better just because it's more points. Still, the game is young, so a lot of things could still happen. I should connect to the city at some point, but I do not like move like this because they actually are massively risky. So the idea, this I don't think would be a good move, because my opponent can develop a city with tempo and threaten to block this square, and they're not going to succeed every time, but they are going to succeed quite often. And you see, now we found a better tile to connect, and of course now we should do that. Now we absolutely should do that. This is a fantastic tile that we got. Also, I think my opponent should meeple this road, because I could actually take these 4 points. But I need it for so many things, right? I could take this road. I could go here and threaten to take over the city completely. Actually, it's quite strong. I could start a new city, I could finish this one, which I don't think would be great because it would kill off a monastery spot. I could go here, and so this is gonna be a weird move, but check this out. So I'm having a 1 point meeple here, and they are also having a 1 point meeple. So these two are even, but in addition, this monastery is going to get blocked. And I'm putting this guy here only as insurance, right? Because on my next move, my opponent could be drawing one of the two remaining starting tiles, in which case, of course, things are not going to work out great for me. At the start of the game, we're still in the opening stages. We just go for points. So now this is, of course, a problem. I think I still should be... I still have some squares, how to block or to attack this further. Because one of the reasons why I did not want to commit to an attack like this myself is because the big city tile is already out. And so this means that this place is possibly blockable. That said, if my opponent gets lucky, like they could complete this in 2 moves and I won't be able to do anything about this. So now I'll be completing this 5-point road. Again, splitting off this is not as important, and also I need to get a meeple back. Also finishing this city I can do way later. So I'm finishing a 5-point road, starting a new city, and this just shows you why you need to meeple things, basically. Because my opponent left this road unattended, and I just ended up picking it up and enjoy these 5 points. Now, this is also something that you not want to be doing. So possibly it's something that you do in a multiplayer game, basically, because you connect to this city, and then you both get to have the points. But in a 2-player game, it's a zero-sum game. Like, it doesn't matter whether we both get 0 points or we both get 1 point or we both get 8 points. So what happened with this move, green just added 1 point to my monastery, and that's pretty much it. So of course, I'm not going to spend a move on completing this. I'm just going to continue my own city over here. Yeah, so they're now connecting, which makes sense, but it's completely fine. This road was not that valuable. Now, most fortunate tile for me, it's because I get to potentially get 4 points for this tile, because the shield is going to be double the points. Yeah, and it also makes the city safer, so it's actually, you can't attack it with anything. You would need multiple tiles to get to it. Now here, what should I do? I think I have only... Well, this move is good, because it sort of tries to block this guy completely, but I won't need it. Like, if my opponent wants to give me a meeple back and give me... and score points over here, I'm gonna let them do that. So I think I'm going to do this, score 2 points, and also threaten to block this square, but it's not going to work out. Okay. I do have only 1 meeple left. I'm not sure how keen am I on trying to take over this road. I think I should take care of the city first, so we should start blocking it. Yeah, because like if my opponent completes the city, I could just lose. I really could lose. Like, they place it over here. I don't have a blocking tile, that's it. Oof, I think that's a massive misstep. Well, because they're spending their last meeple, and they will be without a meeple for quite a while, especially I drew one of the triple cities, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are already... so there are only 3 of those remaining, and even if they end up getting this... So actually, when you attack features, especially with your last meeple, you want to make sure that they are worth a sufficient number of points. And this city, when completed, will be worth either 8 or 10 points, depending on whether the tile with which they be completed has a shield. So I am going to add 1 point to my monastery and at the same time create an attacking platform for this. I'll be looking for any triangle city, you know, to go over here. Fortunately, I draw one of the 2 tiles that my opponent needed for this, so there's only a 50% chance that they will draw it now. I will just finish my city. And even if they don't complete this city will already be significant enough to be attacked. Yeah, you see what's happening. So now, of course, they get their stuff, but they now give me the points. So I get my meeple back, and I get 3 extra. Well, I get a couple of extra points because of this completed city, and I still can block them later. So it was a long-term investment just to freeload a couple of points of my opponent. But this is something that, like, at the beginner to intermediate level, you don't see your opponents do. And if you're watching this, if you're new to Carcassonne, then you actually avoid making moves like this. But I just play how I play. So here we can either attack this square and sort of save our road a little bit. I think a better move is just to make sure that these meeples are blocked. Ah, like this, huh? So, okay, so they, instead of connecting to the road, they choose to try and get their meeple back, which I think is a good idea, but I can try and do something even more, like, super blatant. I think this city I can attack. So what's more important, attacking the city? Yeah, no, this is more fun. And here comes the insurance, right? Because I know that there is 1 more tile remaining that fits here. By the way, I'm going to get punished for this, for not attacking the city, but it was just too much fun. And obviously I'm not going to put it here myself, because I'd rather my opponent stays without meeples. And the reason why I placed my meeple is because I still have a surplus of those, so I can invest a meeple and get some insurance, so I can get a few points in case my opponent draws this suitable tile. Now it's a problem here. Like, they could get lucky and they could continue their city and finish it. So we should, as soon as possible, try and do something about it. Now we are 28 points ahead. I mean, less so, because this city, even though it's not going to be completed, it's going to be worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points. We could take 2 points, which I think is the best move, but of course I want to go for the fun move, one that, like, with which I can take a lot of points, and also my opponent will be disincentivized from finishing this road and getting their meeple back. The reason why I think it's not, I'm not sure if it's the best move here necessarily. Well, there are still tiles remaining to complete the connection. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's still 4 straight road tiles. The reason why it's not such a great move in this situation is because all of the 4 starting tiles are out. So if my opponent finds 2 city tiles, like a city tile and another city tile, well, then they get to block this meeple. But now finally we get to block this square. And we know that this type of tile doesn't exist anymore. Well, it doesn't exist at all. Yeah, now, and here's the thing, when you have your opponent, when you have 1 meeple and your opponent has 0 meeples, we can just go around picking off quick points, basically. And I think I'm not even going to, what am I going to do? Yeah, I think I'm even going to take 3 points for the road and leave 2 empty city caps, just so that I'm trying to be extra greedy, because my opponent cannot take the city caps themselves. So all I'm going to be doing is just taking points. And I wanted to, even though I only got 3 points for the road, and I would have gotten 4 points for the city, I want to have more open stuff on the map, because only I have meeples, because only this is why this means that only I can score points. Now the next move, so let's also try to be precise. So which of the cities do we take? I'm just trying to count out the remaining tiles, and we conclude 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's the asymmetry here? I'm not going to go into detail, but basically if I take this, then there's one more tile that fits in this square. And by the way, so when you don't have meeples, what they should have done instead, they should have just closed off the city cap, just so that I can't take it and I can't take 4 more points. I will just continue to score points, basically. Well, yeah, we can score 3 more points. Of course, we're not going to place our last meeple. Just 1 point over here for the monastery. In theory, we could still get this meeple back. And now we need to score 4 points for the city, either here, either here. And the reason I want to score over here is because this is the more restricted city cap. Like there are fewer tiles that fit over here. So I want to take these 4 points first and then take 4 points for this with a different tile. Yeah, okay, so now I want to finish my monastery, but first I want to get my backdrop back. Alrighty, now we're back. Now we need to decide how to continue this monastery. Basically, I mean, I still want to like play at a high level, even though I didn't count tiles a lot. I want to see how many tiles there are. So how many? So if we place like this, we need a curve, right? And there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 2 more curves and 1 monastery with a road, which I think is good enough. And that way they are 1, 2, 3. There are 2 triangles. There are also, well, both city splitters are here, and the city caps 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 regular city caps. Oh, actually 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm losing count. Yeah, 5, 5, 5. All of them are out. But even if some of the city caps were available, I would still not consider them, because the city caps I'm going to use over here to score points and maximize my points. Just maximize my points basically. So even though we now drew the triangle, it's completely fine. I think it's still the correct move, because there are curves remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, and there's still 3 tiles that fit here, so we're all but guaranteed to get that one going. I think this is a good move, because it sort of pre-builds a field, and it connects this field for which I can take points later. What else? Do we just go here for the 50-50, because otherwise I'll get blocked? No, it's fine, because if I will get blocked, it will be for the 50-50. So basically, if I do this, then there's only 1 tile that goes here. But if my opponent puts something with a city tile, with a piece of city towards here, then I don't get my meeple back at all. But you know, it's completely fine. Oh, the reason I say it's completely fine if they do that is because there are actually the very, very few tiles remaining with which they can do that. If anything, I think there's 0. Yeah, I think there's 0 tiles with which they, well, there's 1 tile with which they can do that. It's this kind of city with a curve. So we're just gonna take our chances, and they don't get, well, they do restrict us to a curve, so which means that, what does it mean? So this means, yeah, well, we get a slightly lower chance at completing, but it's still at 75% actually. Is this move good? I think this move is good actually. Yeah, just sort of trying to oh, it's, yeah, now my opponent starts making good moves. So you see, this prevents me from taking points from the city cap, but instead I can take points for this city cap. Yeah, it's oh, by the way, I think also my opponent got all the straight lines that I needed to connect my road people, but it's fine. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, there's still one more left, actually. So I think we should now... let's just meeple this field for fun, I guess. Yeah, because now they get their meeple back, finally, but it's going to be a bit too late. I'm going to take a 9-point field because that's how you can score the most points. Well, they should either take the 6-point city. Yeah, I was wrong. Maybe there wasn't a straight line remaining. Obviously, there wasn't a straight line remaining. But the reason I thought so is actually I am playing with the new Carcassonne design, and that's not what I'm used to. I haven't bothered changing any settings on this. That's why also I'm playing with the red meeples instead of my usual yellow ones. And here the highest point scoring opportunity is this 6-point field. So we are going to end up winning, I don't know, like plus 50 or something. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little bit closer to plus 60 before the fields. But I think like for a 200 level, my opponents actually played really well in many places. And I also got fairly decent tile as well, even though I got a bit unlucky with this road connection. So here are some lessons that possibly you can learn from this game. I've mentioned them before on my channel. So at the start of the game, you kind of just want to score points aggressively. You don't want to leave potentially lucrative features unattended. In this case, my 5-point road gave me an advantage, and then you don't really want to, yay, first victory with this account. Yeah, you don't really want to spend moves on shared features, because Carcassonne, 2-player Carcassonne is a zero-sum game, so sharing a feature with your opponent doesn't accomplish much. And of course you wanna, you know, block potentially dangerous features of your opponent, but I think most of my viewers might know that. All right, let's just try to say something polite. Good. I really like that Board Game Arena has these pre-clickable chat message buttons, and especially because it's actually continues. Not continuous. I don't know why. Do I just, like, I take a random word and instead I say another random English word? I wanted to say translates. Why I said continues? It's not the same word. It doesn't mean the same thing. It's not related. Well, anyway, back to this. So yeah, it actually translates the messages in their native language, or whatever language they set for Board Game Arena. All right, well, let's see if they agree to a rematch. I know. Board Game Arena is gonna give all these online trophies to try and keep me hooked. Yeah, we're just gonna go straight into our second game. So I think with this video, I'm just gonna play 2 or 3 games and that's it. And the reason I want to play 2 or 3 games, I want to get to an elo of 100 as quickly as possible. Because with 100, I'm eligible for Arena. Now, this is actually not the best move. Because, so my opponent is separating themselves from my city. But actually, this piece of city is better because it has a shield on it. So I am going to end up having 8 points and they're going to having 6 points. So instead, it would be better for them to use the splitter tile somewhere else. The field meeple was good though. Yeah, so they're starting a new city, and this field, it looks like it's something that's going to be worth fighting for. Of course, we're going to meeple the monastery, and we want to meeple. Most of the time, you want to meeple monasteries next to your opponent's features, so that, like, they will want to continue the city. And they will want to finish their city, and when they do so, I will get a spare point for compensation. But the thing is, like, if they never continue their city, which I hope is what happens after I make this move, then both of our meeples get trapped, but I will get at least 4, and probably at the end of the game I will build up this monastery up to 8 points, and they will have only 2 points. And in this mini battle of meeples, this green guy versus red, oh, in this game I'm green, interesting. Then in this mini battle of meeples, I will have a bit of an advantage, and that's actually, but also in this situation, I am trying to trap 2 meeples of red versus 1 meeple of of green, and if successfully I manage to trap them, then these guys will have 4 points. So it's 4 points for 2 meeples, which is extremely low, and I will have 8 points for 1 meeple, which is just a huge advantage. So now there are 3 tiles that left fit here, and my opponent, I think, made another mistake, but it's fine. Obviously, they're 100 rated. They don't know that. It's because they're making it possible for me to block this square entirely. So instead, they should be starting their city not here, but here, trying to pressure this square as well. So I'm going to grab 2 points for a road and continue my city as well. We didn't get a tile yet to block this square. Now, I could either take 2 points here, but I think I want to take this 3-point road and also secure my city a little bit. So they are starting a road themselves. Instead, they should be using, I mean, of course, they won't know that at say like 100 rating level, but I think it's something like, even if you are at 200, then you should know quite quickly about defense, right? So they actually could have taken this straight line and placed it over here. Well, just imagine that it's a straight line, okay? To make sure that there still exists a tile that fits here, and there would be 3 of these tiles remaining, which is like an 88% chance that they would get both of these meeples back. But now, it's just a huge move for me. So I think at this point, it's pretty much already impossible for them to win the game, almost impossible, even if they were like 800 rated. Because it adds 1 point to me. It traps to my monastery, right? It traps 2 of these guys versus 1 guy, and it also restricts their field a little bit. Well, the field restrictions matters a little bit less because they it already has 3 cities, so it will be worth fighting for. And also, this is one of the reasons why I started a road over here, because I knew that eventually I would draw a tile that that is a road finisher. And so now I can drop a farmer here with tempo. And so I'm trying to connect to this field, but even if I don't manage to do so, then at least this farmer will have 2 points. They now have placed a good monastery. That's definitely the best spot for a monastery, and you want to be meepling your monasteries, especially when you're behind. Now, I'm gonna play like a spectacular move. So, like a normal move here in this situation when you're winning is just take 2 points, but I'm going to continue this city and drop a farmer as well here, so that when I connect, I will actually manage to get. So I will get 2 meeples into the field. So I'll have a 2 versus 1 advantage, and I will get 3 points road for the 3 points for this road. So it will be a huge move. I'm setting up a huge move, and also it's extremely likely because it's almost impossible to block this square because we are close to the start of the game, and they are still. Wait, 4, 4, 8, so that's 16 minus 2, there are 14 tiles that still fit here. So it's, I don't know, like a 99.999% chance. Here, it's a bit of an awkward tile. We're forced to continue like this, but it's fine. It's just going to be a city ruin. Now, the problem here for red really lacks meeples, and they dropped a farmer in a field which doesn't have any meeples, which is normally not recommended. Now, and they also spent their last meeple on connecting to the city. So we're going to try and be really mean and try to keep red without meeples for as long as possible, basically. I think I'm going to make one more weird move. No, I'm not gonna do that. I don't really have much to do with this tile. What could we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, this is not the best move necessarily because I don't want to be connecting to the city because 6 of the 8 triple cities are out. So, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So actually the chances were going to be quite low. So I think what I'm going to do instead is just... Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to go here and just try to be really mean in the sense that I'm going to block off the field for this red meeple. Because the thing is, like... There is this field is currently worth 0 points, but if he starts throwing in city caps, then you know, it will be worth more points. And now there's just no room to throw city caps, so it's like looks like it's gonna be almost certainly a, well, they still found a room for a city cap. I'm just gonna start a new city. Not even gonna bother with this road just yet. Yeah, so they are doing the correct. They're trying to finish our joint city to get the meeple back, and here comes the long anticipated high impact move. So I got 3 points for this. I got 9 points for this, for sharing this, and I got 3 extra points for this meeple because it had 2 cities in this farm, and there's a third one which is worth a 3rd point. So it's just an absolutely huge move. And now I think I'm going to go here, even though it restricts myself a bit, it restricts my opponent more. Yeah, and I guess we're just going to close off this field. It's fine for it to have 8 points. Now, okay, I understand. So I think at this kind of 100 level, maybe they play with expansions a lot. They don't know that the tile here doesn't exist, so they are sort of trying to complete their city. Yeah, that will also happen at that level sometimes, but we are concerned only with classical Carcassonne, so this means that we only care about the base game. This would be a spectacular move, just try to connect to this city. And if anything, I actually think this is correct, right? Because so at the moment I'm leading by 7 points. And if we just prevent the city from being completed, yeah, let's just play the proper move. It sort of almost guarantees the victory. Because the idea is, even if this gets blocked, at least they don't get a meeple back. And now I can do pretty much... Yeah, I don't know why they continued my city. I'm just going to get my meeple back. So for some of you, maybe this would not be like the most interesting kind of video. But we still have to get to that like 100 threshold to start playing arena games, and then I'm looking forward to like playing with 500, 600 rated players and crushing them, and who will not know, who will not have seen this video before. Okay, so I don't know, they chose to I think they just have given up on the game. Basically they chose to share the city with me, but I have twice as many meeples. But yeah, well, and maybe for some of you who are newer to this game, possibly you could find something useful. So one useful thing is definitely to try to, well, first of all, not sacrifice your last meeple, because it's complete a trap. There's no tile that goes here. And yeah, be just very careful with your last meeple, because I mean, if you don't have a meeple, you can't score points. That's it. Now I have 2 meeples, so I can just start a monastery. I'm going to start it over here. And probably at this stage, I'm just going to stop overthinking. I think I'm just going to try and get to the end of the game, basically. I'm not even going to bother fighting for the road, even though that would have been fun. But I'd rather get the 5-point move over here. They're going to continue the road. I'm going to continue my city, which looks like it's about to get a lot of points. So, I mean, ideally I should do this, but actually the correct move is this. I mean, ideally I want to do this because like give me more points and it's more fun. But this is the correct move because... yeah, it just takes away a lot of opportunities for getting the meeple back. Yeah, exactly. So now they can't... All right. So now finally they understood it. They started blocking me. Okay, good, good, good. That's what you should be doing. Yeah, so the purpose of this was just to add 1 more point to my monastery, and also to pre-build some cities on my field. And I just got 4 points for a city, 1 point for the monastery, and 3 points for the field. And now we also even get to have 2 points over here and the meeple back. So just these extremely high impact moves. Again, same situation, 3 points for the field, plus 4 points for the city. It's just huge. So we ended up having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 3, 15. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 15, 18-point field with just 2 versus 1 majority. Oops, I forgot to make the full screen. But yeah, obviously I'm playing. You know, in incognito mode, because in my regular browser it is connected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is connected to my main account. let's just take a 6-point road because we have a surplus of meeples, got to use them somewhere. Even though this road is not going to be finished, it's not important at all. Let's just get 1 more point. They're helping me for some reason. Possibly out of frustration. Yeah, here we're gonna get 4 points for a city. Yeah, they do finally get, there was still 1 tile remaining, this piece of city, and they end up having 1 point more for their field. And now I have 2 options. We can either take 6 points for this field, or we can take 3 points for the road, plus we're going to be bringing in this city into our field, so it's 3 more points. So either way, we get 6 more points. All right, so this hasn't happened to me for a while. Let's see, we have one with 100-point difference. Yeah, sorry about that. Well, just let's say something polite and then get into over the 100 elo point threshold. So just a reminder, basically we're going to try and win as many games in a row as we possibly can. So now we're 2 for 2 until we get to 700, which is the master threshold. Okay, so for this player we might not get as much rating points because they're apprentice. They only have 1 rating point, which means that it is their second game, and maybe they haven't had a win in Carcassonne. I kind of feel bad because like it could just ruin game for them. They're gonna see like how brutal it actually is, and I don't intend to play any differently, basically, even though we're going to cover it in some other videos in the future. Actually, I think you should slightly adjust your play depending on the rating of your opponent. So we could connect to this road, but I don't think it's actually that good enough because it's only 2 points. So we need to I think taking 2 points is best, and then if we want to connect, we want to do this with a worse tile, with a cheaper tile, basically. But they're not going to let us do this. They're just going to continue the road in all likelihood, which they should. So this means that I'm going to start a new road myself. Ooh, that was probably a misclick. I think they definitely meant to meeple the field on the other side, where there's at least already 1 city in the field. But generally it's better until you have at least 2, but better 3 cities in the field if you are like a beginner to an intermediate player, because you can end up without meeples so quickly. And I mean, this is what's going to happen in this game as well. Yeah, so they're connecting to my city as they should. And then we're just going to start a new city and also continuing my road at the same time. So most of the time you really want to be... And my backdrop fell again. Yeah, I don't know, I'm going to try and do a better job at fastening it next time. Alrighty, and we're back again. So this is a bit more interesting. So I think right now time to make it a bit more instructive. So there would be a normal move is completing your city. However, it's the start of the game. I have 4 meeples left. I don't need a meeple urgently back, so I rather actually just meeple a new city over here. to force my opponent to defend this square. Because otherwise, I risk connecting to this city. Now, it's actually a question. I think I should now do this or this. Yeah, I think I should do this, actually, because if they get a splitter, then they can get a couple more points. And it's not worth dropping a meeple just yet. I'm behind, by the way. Oh, that'll be fun to lose a game like this, yeah. I mean, I will upload this no matter what. Even though I might lose some credibility as a result. Yeah, they're starting a new city. I think now, yeah, we could continue this row, but I don't want to do that. It's only 1 point. I think this is a decent move. And I'm going to drop a farmer over here, because this already has 2 cities, and it will have soon a 3rd city. And typically, if a feature is 9 points or more, then it is justifiable, typically, to put a meeple there permanently. And obviously a field is a feature, so much so I'm gonna drop a 2nd farmer, actually, and just try to build a big field with both meeples. There are many green squares over here. Also, in some scenarios, I can take a triple city tile, some sort of big city tile, and separate these 2 meeples so that I score twice for these cities. Yeah, of course, this is definitely a mistake. You don't want to be meepling a feature which is worth only 1 point. You want to be meepling features which worth more points. Because, like, here's the reason why you meeple feature. The main reason is why you meeple an incomplete feature. It's like, why don't you meeple it when you complete it? Well, because if you don't meeple it, your opponent will meeple it, and your opponent will complete it. But then, was there really a threat of me meepling this piece of road? Well, probably not. So you could just, yeah, you can just leave it alone. Because, like, what's the difference between this piece of road or this or this or this or this? They're like 5 1-point pieces of road on the map. Now here, I think just gonna continue my road. Also, my opponent is unlikely to block me, I think. Although this also would be a decent move, trying to block this city. I'm just gonna play simpler a little bit. And also, is the thing, when playing lower rated opponents, I usually block less, because blocking is always a risk. There's always a risk that your opponent will get the tile that they need immediately on their next move. Then you sort of just wasted a move. At least this move adds me 1 point, and also I attempt to loop this road back over here, trying to finish the road like this. It's always advantageous when you can finish a road, when you can complete a road without having to use road end tiles, because obviously these are in limited supply, especially when 3 out of 8 crossroads have already gone out. Juicy Monastery, 6-point spot, pretty obvious move. And by the way, also you see they drew the tile, the city with a road, with which they will finish their city. So, you see, my block would have been completely useless, but they have 3 meeples on 1-point roads, and, I mean, it's really gonna be a problem here for them, even though they are actually massively ahead for now. How are they at plus 12? It's temporary, don't worry about that. So, I could just continue my monastery, but I already committed to this play of sort of looping this road. The downside of this is that actually it expands my opponent's field significantly, but, well, what you gonna do? So yeah, again, I think this strategy is not the best necessarily, so they're trying to connect to my city, but my city was worth 1 point. Like, why is it so valuable? Why do they need to share it? I think it also comes from multiplayer games. Like, as I mentioned it when commenting on my first game, if you play in 4-player, 3-player, 5-player Carcassonne, then obviously you want to be sharing features with your opponent. But 2-player Carcassonne is a zero-sum game, so effectively, if we both get 1 point, or if we both get 8 points, it's essentially the same thing. Now, I could do this, but I think a better move is actually just trying to build up my field, because I'm behind, I need to rack up some points, and I do it that way because now I will be scoring for these 3 cities multiple times. Yeah, it's certainly a lucrative monastery tile for them. Well, and I don't have anything better than just meepling a new city cap, basically. Now, also, I'm not even sure how much I want to finish this road, because I will be bringing his meeple into my field, which I should have seen coming. Yeah, but it's fine. It will take them a really long time to get those up and running. Well, I keep saying that, but they are up in points a lot, so I should just be getting some meeples back. And after that, drop a couple more meeples in the farm and just win with a big farm. Or a field. I like to call them fields. Yeah, now we're just going to try to keep my opponents without meeples as long as possible. It will not always be possible, and I have only, like, I have only 1 meeple anyway. Okay, so I think it would be a good way to meeple this monastery, yeah. Because even though it's my last meeple, there aren't really any ways how my opponent can get a meeple back without me also getting a meeple back. Also, I think they should have pre-built their road here. I'm just going to continue this monastery and try to finish it with a curve. Also put some pressure on this square because I'm actually threatening to block this meeple. Well, not that this meeple is coming back by itself anytime soon. And also here I put a monastery meeple which will control my opponent's meeple, because I will get a meeple back now, so I'm not in dire need of meeples, so it's actually red who will be forced to build these squares, and I will freeload on red's points, because any tile that goes here adds points both to me and red. Now, here I have a fantastic tile. I get to finish my road and score points for a second road. So I get a guy into the field without even having to connect this meeple into the field. I should score a second field soon. I could, you know, do all kinds of things. I could go here, but I think a better move is just this. And the idea, oops, I forgot the full screen again, behind this move is that there's only 1 tile remaining that fits over here. So it will, first of all, there's a 50% chance now that they won't get this stuff back at all. And if they do, it will take them like a real long time. So we're just going to now rack up points. Score some points for the crossroads. We should, yeah, we should. We could either go here to control their monastery meeple, but I think we should connect to this guy because, I mean, you never know what's gonna happen. Maybe they just miraculously finish this city. They really could, actually. Sometimes they close really fast, and then they come back into this game. So now we connect, and now actually we might even consider drawing a second farmer there. And also this main field, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's already worth 15 points. So on the off chance that they get a meeple back, we really should try and somehow drop a second meeple into the field. But for now, we're just gonna keep scoring points, basically. Okay, so now this druid, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, it's already worth 13 points. 13 points in Carcassonne speak means a lot of points. So we have 2 meeples, and we can use these meeples. I think it's a good idea to attack this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6. There's still 2 triple cities, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's only three tiles that fit here. I mean, it's still an 88% chance, so still not a bad idea to do this. Because again, we have a sufficient number of meeples. Now, I think the way they try to win this is, first of all, they try to free up meeples ASAP, and then with those newly freed up meeples, they try to win this field. Interestingly, like I'm not ahead. Interestingly, so yeah, they should probably like score. Yeah, of course. So they do get the tile that they need. But actually, let's see if we can make a better move. Like, how can we secure the game? Really, can we block this city meeple? No, they're still gonna get their meeple back. Can we do something here? No, they are going to get a meeple back pretty much no matter what. So I'm just going to make a move that gives me a lot of points for both of these fields. So with that move, I score 4 points for the city, -1 because I give a point to my opponent's monastery, but then I also score 3 points for this field and 3 points for this field. Now this is the problem. They will start attacking my fields. I'm just going to get some points, basically. Well, at least they should somehow try attack my field. But even if they get an extra meeple in, I think I should be fine for this one. Also, one of the reasons why I actually completed the city is because there is now only 1 tile left with which they can complete the monastery. It's regular city cap. Yeah, so I think while I can, I'll just use my remaining meeple to score quick points. It's typically works. So here are the 3 points. Now there really should be dropping a farmer here, trying to connect to this field, but they seem to be really into 1-point roads, so they yeah, now they... Okay, so they... Actually, that's a good move. They continue... They finish the monastery, they start a new city. They plan to complete the city and drop a field meeple on the next move. Well, at least we should assume that they're doing that. But are there even city caps remaining? And I think there are. There are actually 1, 2, 3. There's still 3 city caps remaining. So we should definitely... Oh, there are 4 more. There are even 4. Yeah, so we should prevent them from doing that. Well, they get the city splitter, and just in time to prevent me from connecting. But I can still try through this side. But the question is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there's still 1 tile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, there isn't indeed still 1 triangle. And backdrop again. I'll be right back. All right. Actually, we should be, I think, quite careful with this one because I'm only at +8. I mean, I have these fields, but he can still, or they can still attack the field. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So basically, there is still, I think, a triangle with a road. And I'm gonna start hoping for that triangle. They get the triangle. And they could try connect to the city, but there aren't any tiles remaining that actually fit here. Yeah, it doesn't... Okay, well... Obviously there are no... Well, that's fine. They don't know the tiles. It's their first game or whatever. But typically, like, placing a meeple where you have placing a meeple on a feature that's worth 1 point, typically not the best idea. We're just going to add 1 point to our field and also pre-build what we're about to do next. And what we're about to do next is we'll score 3 points for the field, 3 points for the other field, and 4 points for the city. It's like it's a gigantic move, basically. Now, finally, it's our last tile, so we're just going to take a 5-point road because that's the maximum that's out there. And if they want to finish the city, which would be incorrect, they have to also add me a road point. Now, I think we should be winning this at around +40, just because... No, more, +50, just because we have huge fields. And I think the lesson that you can learn from this game, well, first of all, when you have fields, you can artificially create high-scoring farmers, because have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 cities are each scored for twice. So this farmer and this farmer, they're independent. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 36 field points with just 2 farmers. That's 8 points per field meeple. Yeah, so that's something that maybe you can take away. And the other thing is, of course, try to not meeple features which worth only 1 point, unless you're trying to connect to a bigger feature. Otherwise, you can end up without meeples for a long time. Right, so it's 3 out of 3, and we've reached the 100s ELO point threshold, which means that we're now eligible to start playing arena games where we'll get much stronger opponents, and hopefully we can learn some more advanced things about competitive Carcassonne. Alright, so I'm going to see you in the next episode of Speedrun. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to see you soon.